taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and Student Loan Interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
G'day world, this is the Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to Keeping It Strong Style.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frost. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping it strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the Ace of Podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll review nights 3 and 4 of the Road to the New Beginning tour and cover all this news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network and Keeping a Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. Also, check out all the network's podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Chop Tea store, chop-tees.com/KI Strong Style, so you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style merchandise. There's free shipping on every order and 10% off your first order over at chop-tees.com/KI Strong Style. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. And we are streaming live right now on patreon.com/KI Strong Style for IWGP subscribers. If you want access to the weekly live stream, ad-free audio, and bonus content, subscribe at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. Young boy, how you doing, man?
Yo, I am I'm tired. Yeah, no one ever told me that once I started this new career, went down this new career path, that I was just never going to have time ever again. So yeah, I've been wiped out. And then over the weekend, when it's supposed to be a rest day, I was spending a lot of my time sanding down this fucking sink. We decided that it would be a good idea to strip the paint off of the sink. Bro, have you ever stripped paint?
I have. It's not fun.
Shit sucks. And like originally, I thought that we were just gonna like strip it so that we could repaint it, so get it down to like a bare level. But like my wife was like, "Oh, it looks so good. We should just refinish that." I was like, "Oh, so we got to get all the paint off." And I'm still not done. And yeah, bro, like I'm fucking tired from that work. But I actually applied for a new position in the same department, but like what would I guess essentially be a promotion. And I kind of just did it on a whim, like some bullshit, because I usually you got to be there like a year, you know what I'm saying, before they'll like even consider doing the promotion. But it's a job that's like right up my alley, basically within a realm that I already excel at, even just in the short time I've been an advisor. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put in my shit. And I've been talking to my boss. I'm like, are they gonna talk to me? Like, are they willing to even have the conversation? He's like, I don't know, man, just put it in there. And then I got the notification today, like, yep, Friday interview, like the real interview with the real, not even like a pre-screen, like with the fucking big boss, And I was like,
with the tribal chief.
Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I'm not, bro, at this point, I'm not even anticipating that they actually, not selling myself short, but like, I don't even know if they really will hire me because I'm technically not supposed to be able to do that job at all.
Got a finesse.
Yeah, I might have finessed my way into, so, unfortunately, this might be my last month with Keeping It Strong Style. Just. No, actually, if anything, I'm gearing up to do this Patreon project. Are you going to finish your Patreon project, by the way?
Well, so I've decided to put Dominion deep down a hole until we get closer to Dominion time again, and I'll pick it back up. But I have been trying to think of something to do in between there so we can get some more content going on the Patreon.
Yeah, so I guess I can kind of unveil what the project is, although I haven't worked out all the fine-tuned kinks, but I'm just about ready to start doing some audio. So I don't have a title for it. I have a theme song somewhat. Rich is supposed to, he's probably listening right now, and he told me to do the theme, and he asked me when. I said just whenever, but he should probably fucking get that shit done. But basically, I'm going to be retrospecting Hiroshi Tanahashi's entire career.
Nice.
And I plan to do this from this February all the way up to the end of December. So it'll be a year-long thing. And I'm going to focus on each year of his career. And, there will be some retrospective on what occurred in that year, kind of detailing. Some of that information will kind of come from different resources on the internet, probably some Lions Pride type shit, my own historical just kind of recollection. But also, obviously, the Aces High interview series is going to be a invaluable resource. Plus, I'll be reviewing at least one significant match from each year, maybe depending more, maybe like 1 to 2, essentially.
Nice. Well, yeah, that should be a lot of fun to check out there. So get on the Patreon, patreon.com/KI Strong Style, bonus audio for the grade 1 level there. So that should be fun to check out.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. When Tanahashi had announced his retirement, something that a lot of people had said at the time that, we kind of even just held off on doing the whole like big retrospective and everything. We still haven't even gotten there. I guess we're still trying to make peace with the idea that the Ace is going to ride high for the last time here. But, I was listening to, I believe it was Voices of Wrestling, and they said something to the extent of their entire website and everything they do and their fandom wouldn't exist if Tanahashi hadn't of put over Okada essentially, and kind of kick-started that entire saga of storylines that took place between 2012 to 2020, 2021. And if you really think about it, the genesis of so much of the Western fandom within New Japan really does trace back to the heights of Tanahashi's run and the beginning of Okada's ascent, really. And there probably realistically is not a Keeping It Strong Style without what Tanahashi did in those years, and then even prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, without that whole kickstart, I'd probably still be begrudgingly watching Monday Night Raw right now on Netflix.
I canceled my Netflix, by the way. I had it, and there's a couple things they were doing that I liked, but I can't watch that shit. I can't even watch a Dynamite these days, so I'm definitely not watching a Friday Night SmackDown or a Raw.
Yeah, I didn't watch Royal Rumble. I don't watch Raw. I don't watch any.
Oh, you didn't watch Rumble?
No.
Bro, you want to hear the funniest shit? So I fell asleep in the middle of the Royal Rumble. There was only 4 matches, right? Mm-hmm. I fell asleep hard. I'm talking hard. I was working all day, like I mentioned, and I probably slept for a good hour. And when I woke up, I was asleep for an hour and change. I only missed 1 match.
The Women's Rumble?
No, I finished the Women's Rumble. I fell asleep right at the end of the Women's Rumble. I missed the 2 out of 3 falls tag team match entirely. But that also means I missed all the video packages. I missed all the commercials. I missed all the interview segments with all, showcasing all the celebrities at ringside that apparently they have to do on every show. And I woke up just in time for like Cody and Kevin Owens getting ready to do the ladder match. And I was like, what the fuck? Like that was over an hour. I went through a whole REM cycle.
Yeah, man, they just have horribly paced shows, TV shows, pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever they call them now. But yeah, man, and then when it was like all said and done, I literally like by the time the men's rumble was starting, I was like, I could have just skipped all of this and just tuned in for the men's rumble because I mean that's the only. I hate to say it, but that's the only shit I really cared to see, anyways. Yeah, I was a little bit interested in seeing what was going to happen with the men's rumble just based on some of the names that are in there. But I just kind of popped in and out of social media to see what was going on. And then I saw the Yeet Man one. And I was like, I'm glad I didn't watch this crap.
Bro, here's the funny thing is I'm so disconnected from it all that like I can't really grasp the anger and the criticisms and everything because it's just, I don't know how anyone could have their heart invested in that sort of product in any way to where they even care one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who do, but yeah, for me, like I just see stuff and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. I just kind of move on. It's not like back in 2017 where we were doing a big rant after, Brock beat Roman at WrestleMania. Like I really don't care what they do anymore, but just as a, kind of a, 100,000 feet view of what's going on. It was kind of like that just looks ridiculous that Jey Uso is the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Well, bro, like I was personally thinking that they were going to either do Punk, Cena, or The Rock.
Yeah.
In 2025. So, and the criticism if they'd done one of those 2-3 things would have been like, oh my God, we're still doing this same old shit, a decade later, blah, blah, blah. And instead, they put over a young guy and everyone's like, he's not a star. Are you fucking kidding me? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, the only thing, he is over. I mean, most merch sales, his live reaction.
Fucking over. It is crazy. My dad called me. My dad called me to talk about, bro, my dad's reactions to the Rumble are so fucking funny, dude. Like his takeaways was like, oh yeah, Alexa Bliss came back. He's like, I'm so happy, bro. I'm so happy Alexa Bliss is back. Oh my God. And I was like, she was gone. He's like, she's been gone like 2 years. I was like, what? And then he was like, did you notice about Charlotte? And I was like, what? And he was like, I think she might have had some work done. I'm like, oh, Charlotte Flair had some work done. Oh, okay.
Surprise.
You're just not noticing? Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, Jacob Fatu, man, it's a good thing. If it hadn't have been for Strowman coming in there and getting rid of him, I don't think anyone would have been able to get rid of him. I mean, he is for real. He was the odds-on favorite. Oh, yeah, the funny shit. He was like, what did you think about Charlotte? And I was like, I don't know. Like, he's like, did you see her winning? And I was like, well, she was the odds-on favorite. She hasn't wrestled in over a year. How is she the odds-on favorite?
Oh, man.
Like, well, on the gambling sites, she was negative 470. So she was the heavy favorite to win. And he was like, I just don't understand. She hasn't wrestled in more than a year. And then he was like, Jacob Fatu was going to kill everybody. But, then Strowman came in. He's a serious contender. He's serious. Bro, my dad, it's like he knows it's not real, but he talks about it like it's real. It's so fucking strange.
Your dad refuses to be worked by the dirt sheets.
He refuses to be worked while he's just 100% always getting worked nonstop.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, the Jey Uso, I tell you, ever since he split away, and then when he came up with that yeet idea, when he invented yeet.
Well, he invented the word yeet and eating.
He just became a superstar when he created yeet. Because my dad doesn't know what the fuck that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious.
Oh my God. It's so fucking funny. Oh, and then bro, Cena, the funniest shit was like, did you see how Cena got eliminated?
Yeah, he pretty much got like gently pushed off the apron.
No, he banana slipped off the fucking ring. He got barely pushed, and then he did the O face. Like it's the most goofy ass shit ever. Like,
yeah, the thing is, like, if you really want to put that guy over, like, have
you let him finish you, and you be like hanging. You know, you're selling the shit, and then he fucking
super kicks you.
Yeah, and you go flying. You sell it on the ground. Instead, he's standing there like, oh, I can't believe what just happened. So bad, bro.
Yeah, it's funny because people are like, you know, are kind of praising, you know, oh, they're pushing Jey Usos is great, but when you look at it, like, all right, is it really a push when he kind of banana peel eliminated Cena? And then when you start looking at what WrestleMania is going to look like,
oh, that's the funny shit. Everyone thinks they kept saying that these people are going to main event, right? Oh, they're going to main event, bro. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte might main event. They're probably not going to main event. And I highly doubt that they're putting Jey Uso and Gunther.
No, oh yeah.
Into, you know,
it's gonna be Cody and Cena one of those nights.
Roman's gonna headline one night, Cody's gonna headline the other night, and then the other people are gonna be quote unquote main eventing when they're curtain jerking for the fucking show, like they're Edge and Del Rio from 2011, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, they're main eventing in the opener because it's a headline match. It's bullshit. Yo, did you see? Since we're talking about Royal Rumble, who's the New Japan chick?
Oh, Emily May.
Bro, did you see J-Cast cooking Emily May today on social media?
I saw one thing because she was like, "Oh, it's so good to see my friends that went from NJPW and got into the Rumble or whatever." And
first off, when she said that, I've literally thought about that multiple times today, and I don't know who the fuck she's talking about. Like, who was in WWE or New Japan that made it to WWE that was in the Rumble? Like, I can't even think of anybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'd be people who would have preceded her. Like,
right, like
Balor, Nakamura, AJ Styles.
So happy to see AJ Styles if you just really push for your dreams. You know? It's like, what the fuck is she talking? I don't even know who she's talking about, first off. But then, yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's maybe so many women that worked the strong shows, maybe. Oh, Stephanie Vaquer.
Oh, probably Stephanie Vaquer and... Bro, she's talking about Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. I've been like, well, who is she talking about? You know, and now you say it, and I'm like, oh, she's talking about the chick from CMLL and Stardom, who, like, you know, they held New Japan title, but they're not New Japan contracted talent.
Yeah,
I don't even know, and the only other person I could think of is like was Tama Tonga in the. I don't even know if he was in the Rumble.
I don't think he was. No.
I wasn't paying close enough attention. I don't know. But yeah, that shit was funny. And then J-Cast cooked her and they were like, yeah, if you just really, you know, if you dredge through the doldrums of New Japan and you really bet in yourself and you try, one day you too might make it to the Royal Rumble. And then they put another post out that was mad funny. They were talking, they were like, I missed the cue. I should have been, because you know how like the people who like the shills, like her, where they'll be up in the press box and then people are coming out and then they take their phone and they do the selfies and they do the O face, like, oh my God, I can't believe this person's there. And they're just fucking marking out like in a press box when you're supposed to be press.
Yeah.
So Joel was like, yeah, I should have done that shit with the Rambo at like 4 a.m. Oh my God, Josh Barnett. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh, Taguchi's there. So ridiculous, bro. Yeah. Oh my God. How can you be like the ambassador for like New Japan and be doing that shit? It's embarrassing.
Yeah. And I think she was getting cooked too by other people for like not asking a serious question in the presser too.
Well, you remember last year she was the first the first question, like right when the sex allegation stuff was breaking, and she had the very first question, and it was something like, what is the fallout of Royal Rumble going to be? Like, you know what the fucking fallout's gonna be? They're gonna go to WrestleMania. They're gonna point at a fucking sign. There's gonna be some fireworks.
Right.
What are you talking about? It's the same shit every year. That'd be like going to a New Japan press conference after the G1 and being like, so what do you think the fallout is going to be now that you've won the G1 Climax? I'm going to challenge for the fucking title. What do you think? Oh my God. All right. I guess we should talk about some New Japan shit.
Yeah, that was your quick WWE impromptu review there.
This is just funny, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Also, I'll let you know, like, I only saw 2 of the matches from today's show.
Okay.
I saw the main event, and I saw my dog Yasuda get his fucking shit busted.
Well, I had a hard time. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to watch the main event because, bro, I was watching the show. I started watching the show like around like 8 o'clock, whatever. Had it on the background while I was working. You know, it's going fine. Match after match, boom, boom, boom. Gets to the main event. It's like you don't have access to watch this match.
What?
It's like what? Like.
The match that's supposed to be accessible and free for everybody, even if you don't have the app.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up the exact wording of what the message was. Let's see here.
I hope you called Rocky.
It says you are not entitled to view this asset.
You're not entitled? What does that even mean?
I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm logged in. My account's paid.
They found out it was your account. I got heat for the show. They found out it was your account. They blocked that shit.
And I'm like, what is going on right now? I logged in, logged out, tried refreshing, and then people were like, maybe it's because it's free. Maybe they switched it on accident, and like maybe you have to log out to watch it.
Who are you talking to?
It was I think it was Dragon Master Adam.
You were on Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter. Dragon Master Adam. He's like, yeah, maybe they switched it and maybe it's free, but then you have to log out and watch it. So I tried that, got the same message. Bro, I had to go to Daily Motion to watch the freaking TV title match.
So I booted up Tout.
Man. But before we jump in,
you had to pull up Billy.
Bro, I almost had to. If it wasn't on Daily Motion, that was the next stop.
I had to pull up VK.com. All right, that's funny. Yeah, no, I watched that live this morning when I woke up, and then the markets are fucking tanking. Thanks, Donald Trump. Yeah, my God. Fucking great businessman getting us in the fucking debt and tanking the fucking market. Oh my God, all day just getting calls from people wanting to move their money out of the market into commodities and shit. Jeff Jarrett's probably making a killing on that gold.
The GWF gold.
Yeah, the GWF gold bars. Fucking chilling. But anyway, so yeah. So you got to watch the match, though.
Yes, eventually, yeah. But before we jump into that, we got to talk about the January match of the month and wrestler of the month, since this is the first episode of February. So for the match of the month, I think we're in agreement. Everybody's in agreement here that the January match of the month is Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd from Wrestle Dynasty from January 5th.
I was going to go with Mercedes Moné, but whatever.
Money.
Yeah, no. There's, we don't have to, re-review one of the greatest matches of the year. Obviously, you can go back and listen to our January 4th review to kind of get all the finer details, but just an incredible match and well-deserving to be match of the month. And, easily the leading contender as of, February 3rd, 2025 for match of the year. And I would love for there to be other matches that rival or even surpass it. It's not necessarily super likely at this current time, but you just never know. But that's the mark. So
yeah,
congrats to those guys.
Then for the wrestler of the month, we talked about it a little bit over the weekend, but we hadn't solidified it. You brought up a lot of great nominees. Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, Takeshita, A lot of
Goto.
guys, Goto. A lot of guys having a lot of great January, and for me, I was really stuck down between Gabe and Zach. Zach, obviously, making history, being a foreigner, main eventing the Dome 2 nights in a row, retaining the title both nights in a row. Obviously, night one main event was kind of a stinker to most people, and then the Ricochet match was a pretty good match. So overall, winning a lot, double title matches there, a great kind of.
Then there was also the Hechicero match,
yeah,
which was extremely standout. Then there's the work that's been done in those preview tag matches opposite of Hiroki Goto all throughout the month as well. And so that's the tough part. And then you got Gabe, where Gabe has definitely peaked higher with the Kenny match, certainly. And then, also had a really standout match with, even if it's a bit polarizing, the match with Tomohiro Ishii in the US, a successful defense of the strong openweight title. Plus he's challenging against what's wrong with me?
Tsuji.
Too many fumes over the weekend. Tsuji. And, has been having a pretty compelling undercard series of tag matches with, the War Dogs and LIJ leading up to the preview of that match. So it's tough for me because I feel like if you do it is so tough. Okay, because on the one hand, Gabe really kind of broke out to a certain extent,
Yeah.
But then the kayfabe accomplishments of what Zach did in the Dome is literally historic.
Yeah.
And he has the 3 top singles matches in the month. Whereas Gabe only really has the 2, but the one match is so
blow away, yeah.
Exactly. And then I think both of them have been doing really, really good work in their preview tags. I will say this. I think that the Zach and Goto shit has been better, but that's mainly because it's at the top of the card most nights and they've had more time to kind of go.
Yeah.
So if I was just basing it on the way we normally do it, just based on who had the greater volume of great matches, I do think it's Zach. But also Gabe took this huge monumentous step forward and has kind of endeared himself in a breakout sort of way. I'm stuck, man. I don't know. What do you think? What is your heart telling you after laying it out with those 2 arguments?
Do we go for tie? Do we get a
nope.
Nope,
we've never done that. We're not doing it now.
No 94 Rumble.
Oh no. This is the 2005 Rumble.
Oh man, I think I gotta go with Zach.
I think it is Zach. I wanted to say Zach, but I didn't want to because it feels wrong. Because of what Gabe did, but it kind of is Zach. Just the sheer number of top end performances. But that one Shota Umino match is the one thing that's if that had delivered the way it should have, then we wouldn't even be having the conversation. There'd be no question.
Yeah.
I still think it is Zach.
Yeah, I'm going Zach. Shout out to Zach Sabre Jr. January
I think
Wrestling.
It's 3 in a row.
I think so, yeah.
3 or 4 at this point.
Yeah. Incredible.
Fucking crazy.
Incredible run for CSJ.
All right. Well, now that settles it, we can get to Road.
That's right. The road to the new beginning. So we did have a young lion injury going into these nights, as there was a right ankle injury to Shomakato, which took him off of the rest of the tour. But luckily, Yasuda has been cleared from his injury, and he came back in action here. So starting off night 3, this was January 30th from Sendai Sun Plaza, had an attendance of 1,077. Show opened up, we had a 10-minute time limit draw with Daiki Nagai and Masatora Yasuda.
Good match. don't have much to kind of say there. I am still of the opinion as of right now, just based on the work of those two guys. I think they're beyond Murashima and Kato personally. Even with less reps and less experience and everything like that. But they said that this is the longest streak of of draws between two young lions with no victor ever in history. Like even more so than Sho and Yo, which I guess they had held the record. A lot of those matches haven't made tape though, is the one thing. So it almost doesn't feel like that's the case to me. Because a lot of those
feels
matches,
like they haven't wrestled as much.
I mean, they have, but I feel like, remember back in the day when it was Uemura and Tsuji, and it just felt like they had draws for fucking ever. Like those all made tape, but that was like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's the story. These guys keep progressing, and good to see Yasuda back for however long that may be.
Yeah, good opener here. Both guys showing a lot of fire, especially Daiki Nagai. And, it was your typical Young Lion matchup here. So it was a good opener to the show. Then following that, we had the TMDK team of Hartley Jackson and Rei Oiwa defeating Katsuya Murashima and Yoshihashi in 11 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, Yoshihashi, he got that ass beat. And then he got that ass beat a second time. Run it back. No doubts about it.
Yeah, and big Hartley Jackson here looking good in the match. Dude, he's starting to get over with me big time. And yeah, he looked good here, kind of throwing around Murashima, getting the win for the team.
Yeah, big guy, big muscular bruiser, and pretty impressive. And yeah, good undercard match. Obviously, you know what's happening here when you see the young lion on the opposite end.
Yeah. So then following that, we had El Phantasmo, Jado, Shota Umino, and Toki Makabe defeating Francesco Akira, Great Okan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb. So this was serving as a preview for the TV title match that happened today.
Yeah, and you know what? As we kind of go along, I guess this will be sort of a running theme. I was kind of a little underwhelmed by this particular show on 10/31, or was it 10/30?
1:30, January 30th.
Again, too many themes this weekend. The January 30th. For some reason, too, I don't know why. I thought the 1:31 show was going to get broadcast as well. So, I was anticipating that the next day, and then it never came, and I was confused. But, yeah, I thought a lot of the 1:30 show was just kind of your standard, house show, less than a regular Road to, where it was just really, there was almost no angles. There was very little story progression. It just felt like a house show, and it's kind of crazy because they outdrew the Korakuen from a few days later. They did a good house, but there was just not much to kind of sink your teeth into. So, again, this match was fine. It's a good little preview. Not much memorable for me to kind of digest or talk about here.
Yeah, Phantasmo had to see CR2 on Jacob Austin Young to get the win for the team and, kind of build up the heat there going into the match with Cobb. Then following that, we had the War Dogs of Sonata and Taichi Ishimori defeating the Just Four Guys team of Taichi and Takamichi Noku. So the continued feud there between Taichi and Sonata, they're going to face off at the road to the new beginning, at the new beginning in Osaka. So just more kind of continued build for that.
At this point, we've seen this match so many times. I'm ready. We've previewed it. It's good. We're there. We got it covered. Got enough previews. Let's fucking run it,
Yeah. So Sonata hits a low blow on Taichi, and then one on Taka. Ishimori does the Gato clutch on Taka to get the win.
Oh, the one thing that did stand out here was that Taka had the match sewn up, right? And this is something that the War Dogs have been doing recently that has kind of irked me, and I haven't pointed it out, but it keeps happening where they're blatantly shoving the ref in the ring to prevent either near falls or countouts or what have you.
Yeah.
And they did it again here, where like he was getting the 1, 2, 3, and instead of breaking up the pin, they're shoving the fucking ref. And it's like, I know we've talked about it to death in the past, but it's like we have to say it again because this is even more blatant than a lot of the other tactics that happen in matches where it's like, why are we fucking just, this is where we're at now. We're just going to fucking shove the ref in the ring and there's no repercussions like at all, you know?
Yeah, the worst is when like they shove the ref and it wasn't even that hard. So the ref kind of rebounds quickly, sees them cheating. He clearly sees it and just continues on like nothing happened.
At least with like Red Shoes doesn't get ref bumped bad the way like Western referees do, but he'll take a buckle. He'll get squashed in the buckle and then he'll do the slow descent like and go down to his knees. And then, the bad guy's manager or second will be like, rubbing his neck and keeping his head turned away, pretending like they're helping him, but really they're keeping him away from the action. At least, even as stupid as that is, that's somewhat plausible. But these guys are just getting bumped. And like you said, they're popping back up and they're watching what they did. And there's no admonishment. There's no control. And like, I'm not a stickler. I understand what the referees are there for. Like, it's a storytelling trope and they need to, it's not like real fight. Have you ever seen like someone actually interfere in a real fight?
No. I
have. And like in a real there's a really famous fight from 1997 from Vale Tudo, Japan, 1997. It's Frank Shamrock versus Enson Inoue. And it's a super famous fight because Enson Inoue was the Shuto heavyweight champion. And Frank Shamrock was former king of Pancrase. And Pancrase and Shuto, they didn't cross over. They were like, it was like WCW and WWF back in the day. They were like, this is before Pride. They were the two biggest MMA promotions. And they had a crossover fight. And the funny thing about the fight, this is how weird MMA was back then. The winner of that fight was going to be the number one contender in the UFC to challenge for the UFC's new light heavyweight title. So like back then you could like be fighting in other promotions and get like title shots and, shit like that. But anyways, the fight is really famous and it's a really good fight. And towards the end of the fight, Frank Shamrock just fucking ices Enson Inoue and he goes down and his brother Egan, like before Frank can, how they do in MMA when you knock someone out, you start
jumping
like,
on them.
Yeah. Egan Inoue it's a ring. He jumps over the fucking ropes and he crashes into Frank Shamrock as hard as you fucking can. So the actual like verdict of the match, it's not like Frank didn't win by knockout. He won by disqualification because there was interference from the outside, just like in professional wrestling. But like as soon as he was in the ring, the fight was over. He didn't have to touch them or do anything. The very mere fact that he stepped into the ring. And like in regular wrestling, people be walking in the ring like, oh, they didn't make contact.
They didn't hit anybody. They're just standing there.
It's like in football, bro. If you're in the middle of a play and someone steps on the field, what the fuck? The play stops and there's like a flag and shit. Like, but in wrestling, They don't call that shit. So all that is just to say is like, we're getting to the point in New Japan where they literally just push the ref over to prevent him from making, from finishing a count. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's worse than just pulling them out of the ring like they normally do.
Yeah, which I hate that too.
I hate that too. The War Dogs are, bro, they fucking suck.
I don't know. I think some of the War Dogs suck.
What War Dog do you like? Oh, my bad. I'm saying House of Torture. House of Torture. Oh, wait, I guess he is War Dogs, isn't he?
Yeah, Sonata and Ishimori, they're both.
Oh shit! I did a racism there because they're Japanese. Because they're like the only two Japanese members of War Dogs. I was thinking they were House of Torture for a second there.
Nah, they're the new Japanese branch.
It's all BC.
Yeah. So they get the win there by cheating, builds up more heat for the Osaka match. Then following that, we had Hiromu and Naito defeating Honma and Ishii in 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
And Ishii is continuing on his quest of like, I've got nothing fucking going on in this company, but I'm just going to work harder than anybody else on the card every night. and have these compelling little side quest stories that don't amount to anything in the middle of the tour. So like he's getting beef and heat with Hiromu and Naito, but it's for nothing because the Bucks aren't here, which like, I get it. You know, I get what's going, like, I don't want to like blast it too much because it's not like we didn't know that the Young Bucks weren't going to like, I don't expect them to work Road to New Beginning, right?
Yeah.
But shouldn't there be like some contribution to the storyline?
Send some videos in.
Send a video, do a promotion online, Twitter, whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know. This is feeling like Bray Wyatt having to promote WrestleMania without The Undertaker ever fucking showing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pretty much. Or like a Swerve in the Bryan Danielson match.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, kind of like that too.
Yeah, so Naito got the submission victory over Honma, and like you mentioned, post-match, Ishii and Naito were just like starting to throw blows post-match, and then Hiromu pushed Naito aside, and he started throwing blows at Ishii, and they both got in his face. And again, Ishii, he's picking out all these junior challengers. He was beefing with Akira last week, beefing with Hiromu. This week, Josh, you might be getting your wish. This man.
There's no way if that happens, I will cry.
Ishii's like, you know what? I've done it. I've been never champ so many times. They're not going to give me the world title. It's time.
Remember how hyped I was when Okada came out and he didn't have the fucking pants on anymore?
Bro, yeah, you were like jumping up and down.
That's how I'm gonna be when Ishii gets announced as part of Best Super Juniors in 2025.
That's gonna be so wild. They're going through the block announcements and A block, Ishii, Tomohiro.
You're gonna hear someone,
yeah,
oh, that'd be so sick.
That'd be nuts. Following that, more War Dogs action here. We had Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and Gabe Kidd defeating Bushi, Shingo, and Yota Tsuji. So double preview here for Shingo and Drilla, and for Gabe and Tsuji.
Yep. Like I said, there's not a lot going on here. It's like it's wash, rinse, repeats. The same shit we've been seeing. This was one of the few nights where like I did wonder like why did they air this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
aside from I guess because the main event and the semi-main event, but still like.
Yeah, I feel like that's the next step here. So we've gotten stuff down to like one big show. I feel like we need less televised road twos.
Did you know that they did televise 131?
We're doing a test broadcast of like the main event, something like that, right?
No, they broadcast the whole show.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, like so I found that out later, but they broadcast it. They made an announcement that they were doing a test broadcast like a couple hours before it. So the only way you could have caught it is to have watched it live. I guess technically, I bet you there's probably some illegal. It's not on New Japan World. There's probably an illegal method to go track that down. Should you choose to do so? I read the results. It didn't seem like anything. I mean, it felt very much like this night, except, there wasn't a 6-man, never open weight tag team title on top. But that shit's out there. If you're a completionist, you want to watch that shit, it's there.
Yeah. So Chase got the win for the War Dogs here. No chaser on Bushi for the win. And then we got the semi-main event for the Never Openweight Six-Man Tag Team titles. The House of Torture, Ren Narita, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi are the new champions. They defeated the Bebop trio of Tanahashi, Yano, and Bolton Oleg.
I was really happy during the four-way match at Wrestle Kingdom when Jeff Cobb grabbed the push-up bar and broke that shit. Because I thought that was literally the end of the push-up bar. Like, obviously, could they obtain a new push-up bar? Sure. But just for the visuals of what had occurred there when he snapped it in half, I thought that was like spiritual, like
the ceremonial.
Like it was ceremonial. Like this is the end of them being able to utilize this particular. Nope. they have it back. And not only do they have it back, it's spray painted black. It's more permanent than the other one. So that's great. The match was fine. Like speaking of matches that have gone on and on and on and on, we've seen some variation or iteration of this match for this title with these people involved in numerous amounts of times at this point. And the one positive thing I will say, they were able to build off of a lot of those things they've done in prior matches. That was cool. Plus, the Bebop trio got the upper hand in the beginning and jumped them before the bell, which is atypical from good guys and, you know, very much plays into the trope of what House of Torture is known for. But, you know, what else there to say?
Yeah, I did like that they jumped him from the bell because, you know, made the good guys look smart. Like that, you're all getting jumped. How about you do the jumping? So, yeah, that was fun. But besides that, yeah, it was your kind of rinse and repeat House of Torture versus Hantai matchup that we've literally seen, like you mentioned, for the last year now in some form of fashion with some form of trio from House of Torture versus Tanahashi, Bolton, and Yano here. And, you know, we talked about people interfering. Well, we had Yoshinobu Kanemaru jumping to ringside here, not a active participant in the match, comes at ringside. Yano hits a powerbomb for a near fall and show. Kanemaru tosses a young lion onto the ref. So he grabs somebody from outside, throws them onto the ref to break the count up. And then Kanemaru sprays the alcohol, the whiskey, in Yano's eyes, shows a low blow, and uppercut on Yano, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, new champions.
And I mean, it's bittersweet because on the one hand, it will open up the opportunity. Like, we don't have to see Yano as much. That's great.
Yeah.
Oleg Bolton, you know, he's kind of freed up. He can go do some other stuff. Tanahashi doesn't have to be saddled with babysitting in his last year as an active competitor. But the drawback is we're going to have to continue to watch House of Torture 6-man trios matches, which I guess that is kind of where they belong anyways. But, you know, this isn't exactly, you know, Bishamon and Ishii, you know, carrying the straps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, it's a lose-lose situation because, yeah, I definitely was kind of tired of Tanahashi and Bolton kind of being stuck there. Like, I feel like, yeah, Tanahashi's last year, you want to focus on the Tanahashi final road, and then Bolton, I think it's time for him to kind of be in more singles roles and do some bigger and better things. But then at the same,
if he can wrestle or not.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like I really don't want House of Torture, you know, in any kind of title picture, even if it is the NEVER Six-Man titles. And I feel like between, you know, New Japan and AEW, these companies just cannot book trios titles well for whatever reason for long periods of time. I just don't get it.
I don't think a trios title has ever been booked well in any company, historically speaking.
Yeah, I don't get why. Like it should be a pretty simple tool to use. And
you know what? I'll take that back. Sorry, because that's not correct. In Mexico, trios titles matter and have at several different points in, you know, various companies' histories, whether that's AAA or CMLL, been like the preeminent prize within that company, you know? Mm-hmm. And you know what? Here's another one, Lucha Underground.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for all of its faults, there were times where the Lucha Underground trios belts actually did mean something and were kind of semi-important.
Yeah,
but,
I think Stardom does a good. I don't, also I'm not watching Stardom full time, but from what I see from Joshi Expert, it seems like their trios titles are pretty booked well.
Gotcha. But when I said like major companies, I was kind of just thinking more of like in a Western sense. And you think back, like the two big prominent titles that were trios belts historically that people will probably, you know, acknowledge were like World Class and Jim Crockett. They both, you know, had prominent trios belts at different times, but you know, we're talking very short periods of time, and they never really had divisions, and they really weren't booked that well, if you are honest with. And you know, outside of a handful of matches, it's not like they had a ton of classics. Probably going to find more great classic trios title matches in like late stage Sinclair era ROH than anywhere else. Probably.
Yeah.
A lot of those matches are going to involve the Bucks.
Right, yeah. Bucks and Hangman, Bucks and AJ, Bucks and Kenny.
Bucks and Adam Cole,
yeah,
Bucks and Kenny.
Cody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially,
Bucks and Mario Scroll.
For a company that's so faction paced like New Japan, you think it would be so easy. Like, all you have to do is pick 3 guys from a faction and just do title matches often. Like, it shouldn't be that hard.
They've shown the propensity to be able to excel at it, when the right guys have the titles.
Yeah. But yeah, we're back in House of Torture reign here, so we'll see what happens from there. And then the main event, we had the TMDK team of Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Hiroki Goto, Yo, and El Desperado in 16 minutes and 58 seconds. So, of course, here, preview for Zack Goto and Fujita and Despy, and then Fujita and Eagles versus Yo and Rocky.
Yeah, kind of busy in a certain sense because there's a lot of different matches that they're previewing. The action was good. Easily for me, match of the night. And, the big story coming out of the match is the fact that Zack was finally able to get a pinfall victory over Hiroki Goto, who has kind of had his number all throughout the tour.
Yeah, last week we talked about, Goto pinning Sabre there, getting that big upset win, and how rare it is that for the guys that are in the title picture to be pinning each other in these multi-man previews. So we come back here this time. Like you mentioned, Zack gets the pinfall here, does the European clutch onto Goto to get the pin and get some momentum back on his side. But yeah, really good action here. And post-match, Zack cut a promo talking about wanting to paint the whole world orange, and they went over to commentary and was mentioning how it's going to be TMDK's year, talking about Ichiban Sweet Boys being tag champs, saying Nichols and Hayes will get the tag titles back, and that Bad Dude Tito's coming back soon is what Zack said. So I'm hoping that is true, that we'll get a Bad Dude Tito back soon, and he said that, and Hartley Jackson is alive.
He's alive, yeah. It's like we're on top of the world. Hartley's not dead. So, what did you? By the way, on this night? What did you think of Hartley Jackson's commentary?
I think he's pretty good. I feel like he kind of really goes into that more of a commentator role. Sometimes guys will be so heavy into their character and not always add to what's going on. And I felt like he was just kind of being himself and really kind of trying to play that commentator role.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there was, for my liking, enough personality shining through, but I thought he was proficient enough, perfectly fine. We've seen some guys that just are the shits.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't mind him doing more shots in between tours.
Bring back my dog, Chris Charlton.
Yeah, it's been a month now, right?
Free Chris. Was it a month or 2 months? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it? Maybe it was 2 months.
Might be 2 months.
So then following that show, we had the televised night 4 of the tour in Korakuen Hall today. We had attendance of 928, so a little bit of a lighter house for Korakuen here, but still a nice size crowd. Show opened up. We had a first time matchup here with Katsuya Murashima defeating Masatora Yasuda in 7 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah, so you know what? It's kind of been interesting how on both of these nights they treated the first Young Lions match, instead of the actual show, they treat it like a kickoff, like a pre-show.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because they don't usually do it that way. It's usually just the straight up opener. So I don't know if that's, going to be the methodology going forward. Kind of interesting. But match was fine. I thought they were showing good fire, good flair and everything. And then Yasuda just comes up and his tooth is just fucking jacked. And then very shortly after that, just his mouth starts bleeding profusely. And I rewound it quite a few times to see what happened there. I don't know if you caught it.
No, I tried looking back too, but it just kind of seemed like he went down. At one point, his tooth was gone.
It had to be, and I it's so strange, man, because it had to be a forearm shot when they were trading forearms, because that's the only thing that really made sense, unless the damage had been done prior and we just didn't see it, and then the effects of it came full circle later. Like, but I don't think so, because he got hit with a couple forearms and then shoulder tackled, and when he came up, he was touching his mouth, and then he had the damage. I guess it could be from the Dan Coffin says toothless aggression. It could be from the shoulder tackle. I mean, it's not impossible. You're not wearing a mouth guard if you don't tuck your chin enough, and if you're not gritting your teeth, you don't breathe out correctly, and you take the bump, and there's recoil, maybe. But that would seem pretty implausible. Like, yeah. I think what happened
had to be a forearm.
I think it was a forearm, but when I watched the forearms, number one, they looked soft. Number two, he didn't look like he hit him in the face. He looked like he was hitting him in the shoulder. But like, I rewatched it a bunch of times. I'm like, he had to have fucking clocked him here. Which, like, if that's the case, like, they were talking about heat. Well, not they, but like Walker Stewart was talking about, like, you know, the fact that the other guys were calling him like Luchador Jr. and shit like that, talking about his like heritage and stuff. And I'm wondering, like, was this a receipt? You know, was this an accident, or was this a happy accident? Like, was that intentional? Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
But bro, it's grotesque. Like, you know me, I love myself a good juice, but there's this weird thing in me where guy bleeds from his forehead doesn't bother me whatsoever. I won't even bat an eye at it. This guy's bleeding out of his mouth profusely, looking like Nosferatu. And bro, I was like, early this morning, I was like, I can't watch that shit. It looked horrible. Like, one of the worst injuries.
And this man Morrissey put him in the Boston Crab, like right in front of his tooth.
It was so bad, bro.
Yeah.
So bad. Like, that's got to be the most grotesque Young Lions match I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was pretty bloody there.
I don't know if anything notable like that happened for the rest of the show, but that was crazy. Like, someone asked us the other week, like, what was one of the craziest injuries someone gutted it through and finished the match? I'm like, this is up there. Like, yeah, it was bleeding buckets.
Give you Suda some respect after this one.
Something. And I'm like, he just came back from injury. Is he about to be gone again?
Might be.
Is he the next Yagi?
Maybe.
Kept getting injured, just disappeared.
Yeah.
Remember Kanemitsu?
Yeah. So following that opener, the official opener of the card, we had Tanahashi defeating Daiki Nagai 8 minutes and 36 seconds.
I liked this fine. I kind of thought that maybe because it was Daiki Nagai, there would be a little more here than the other guys, since, you know, you saved the best for last. But I didn't necessarily get the vibe that this was exponentially. I think the first match, I don't even remember which one of the guys it was.
I'm pretty sure he had Shoma Kato first.
I thought the first match with Kato was the best of the three. And this was still fine, but it didn't stand out like that first match did to me.
I don't know. I feel like Daiki Nagai was able to show a little bit more personality than all those guys in this match. And there was like several like moments where he was doing like big chops on Tanahashi. He did some big slaps with Tanahashi and the crowd popped, and like kind of the fire and aggression that he had going against Tanahashi. But then as far as the layout for the rest of the match, it was pretty much the same as the others, where Tanahashi's working the leg, sets up the cloverleaf to get the win.
Yeah, you're wrong. Shoma Kato was better on his night. Fuck Daiki Nagai.
I don't know, man. There's something about the guy, that evil like looking face he had, and the way he was slapping Tanahashi around. Yeah, I thought he did pretty good here. But yeah, Ace gets the win, and I love how Tanahashi is padding his record on the last year. You know, he's doing all these Young Lion matches. He's gonna have a good win-loss ratio by the time January rolls around.
It's like the old days when guys used to go work dark. You want to see him on TV for like 3 months and then come back like 17-0 in the last 3 months. Like, what the fuck?
10-2 in his last 12 matches. What?
It's Brian Cage, and he's 18. He's undefeated in the last 4 months, and he's the number one contender in the rankings too. And you're like, when the fuck did that happen? He hasn't been on TV in months.
Who did he beat?
And then John Moxley squashes him, and then he goes back down. You're like, what happened?
Oh man, R.I.P. rankings.
That's back when Matt used to win.
Yeah,
on Dark.
Back when they used to treat Matt like a star.
Yeah.
Now that man can't even get on TV.
I think he's been injured. I don't think he's cleared to come back is the issue.
Gotcha.
Because trust me, they want him back. They need someone jobbing to all these dudes that are unwilling to do jobs. Got Bobby Lashley there now, you know.
Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin. They got dudes that need to be. There's a job to do.
It's funny. I was listening to Shelton Benjamin. He was on Taka's Jericho last week, and they were talking about the C2, and he was like, "Yeah, they asked me to be the C2." My first response was like, "Am I winning?"
Like, one of when I was back in 2013, when I was selling home automation and alarm systems for people's houses in Houston, Texas. One of my buddies sold Shelton Benjamin, like at his house. Like, I guess he lives in Houston, and we'd all be knocking door to door, selling shit, whatever, and come back in the middle of the night after working a long day. And one of my buddies like, "Hey, Josh, you like wrestling, right?" He's like, I met this black dude who said he does Japanese wrestling. I was confused. He's a black dude, but he showed me this video where he runs up a ladder. I was like, Shelton Benjamin? He's like, yeah, he's been wrestling in Japan or something. He used to be in the WWF. I was like, why didn't I get that house? That would have been sick.
Vader X. But let's move on. Next match here. We had Shota Umino and Team 609, Wato and Iguchi, defeating the United Empire team of Francesco Akira, Great Okan, and Jacob Austin Young. So continue build here to Umino and Great Okan.
I was about to say, Wato's on a build? I missed that shit.
Well, hey, the first thing I noticed when this match started and like Umino and Wato were next to each other, I'm like, wow, like Umino looks more of a geek than Wato does.
Mm-hmm. But they're trying their best right now to rehab Hantai, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's part of that 10-point commission of Tanahashi, make Hantai great again.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this match was fine. Like you mentioned, kind of similar to what we've been seeing this whole tour. And towards the end here, Wato got the Vendaval submission on Jacob Austin Young to get the submission win for the team. And then post-match, Okan got some scissors and looked like he was going to try and cut Umino's hair. And then he grabbed his shirt and cut the shirt. And so continue to see Great Okan just trying to antagonize Umino by cutting up his merch, ripping up his merch, and that antagonizing him in that way.
I'd be fine if people cut up our merch as long as they pay for it.
Do what you want. Just buy it.
Just give me your money, kid.
Then after that, we had Hiromu and Naito defeating Great Bash heel of Togi Makabe and Tomioka Hanma in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. So again, giving Hiromu and Naito something to do since the Bucks are not here and beating a quote-unquote established tag team in Hanma and Makabe.
Don't forget, Makabe, he's gearing up for that big Tanahashi match at the end of the tour.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Again, another win for Tanahashi. This man, he's padded. His first 2 months is like... Oh, man.
Oh.
Man thinks he's slick. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, Hiromu gets the pin on Hanma here, which... I don't know if it's kind of a big deal, but I mean, it's still a junior pinning heavyweight. So I guess that's kind of good for Hiromu.
It's not. Hasn't he beaten Hanma like multiple times now? Like this is regular.
Yeah. So yeah, they get some momentum there as they wait for the Young Bucks to show up in Osaka. Following that, we had Connors and Sonata of the War Dogs defeating Taichi and Taka by DQ in 7 minutes and 56 seconds. So towards the end of the match here, we had Taichi blocking a low blow from Sonata, but then Sonata grabbing Taichi's leg and making it look like he got low blowed by Taichi right as the referee turns around until the referee disqualifies Taichi and Taka, and Connors and Sonata get the win.
Well, it sounds like you didn't have to sit through it for too long before you got the bullshit finish, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's only just 8 minutes, not too bad.
Just a little bit more than the women get at a dome show.
So yeah, it was fun, and yes, it's more heat for Sonata and Taichi. So yeah, it's fun. Then following that, we had Drilla, Gabe, and Ishimori defeating Bushi, Shingo, and Yosutsuji. So more of a build there for those two matches. And again, I think Gabe and Tsuji should have a good match, but also Shingo and Drilla should have a pretty good match too.
You know what's funny with all this is like we've seen tours where they have way more road to shows than this, and sometimes it doesn't feel this arduous. Whereas like we're getting long breaks and not that many road to shows, but because they're so repetitive, it's like, damn, I've seen this shit already, like a lot. Like we can get to it now.
Yeah, there's very little variation. It's pretty much just same match, different finish each night, which is fine if it's not televised. It is a touring company. You do all these house shows, and you want the different cities and prefectuals to see the same match. Fine, whatever, but to then have it be televised over and over again, I feel like it kind of kills momentum going into Osaka.
It's like, damn, I like the match the first time.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it 6 times.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I feel like they could have changed up a little bit, throw some more matches in there. I know we had a TV title match on this show, and there's going to be a junior title match tomorrow, but I feel like there's other stuff they could have done to kind of mix it up and not feel it completely the same. So then following that, we had Goto, Ishii, and Yoshihashi teaming up with El Desperado to defeat the TMDK team of Hartley Jackson, Kosei Vegeta, Robbie Eagles, Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr.
That sounds like a pretty great match, actually, considering all the talent in there. It also could be a fuck-off match, but, like, yeah, that's a pretty stacked team right there, both of them. Yeah,
I mean, this match was pretty awesome, and the interactions with Hartley Jackson and Tomohiro Ishii were just great. There's a segment in there, they're throwing lariats back and forth, and like Hartley Jackson's just like killing Ishii, throwing Ishii around, and then the finish of the match was Ishii getting Hartley Jackson up for the brain buster. And of course the whole crowd's like, oh, and then he held him up. Bow, drop that big man.
I was literally going to ask, can he even take a brain buster? Just considering like the mechanics of his body, that seems like a scary proposition, but you're telling me they did it.
Yeah, Ishii got that man up.
Fuck.
Gave him the big brain buster. Bow, drop that big man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Might need to watch that one.
Yeah, I want a Hartley Jackson Ishii singles match now. Like their interactions, this whole match is so great. So yeah, and then you had the other guys mixing it up, and we had the great trio team a part of this match with Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi. So they were doing a lot of their great double team stuff. There's a funny spot where a lot of times where TMDK will do like their multiple submission holds where they'll all take turns like doing submissions. Well, like
yeah, and I used to love that when like Suzuki and Zach did it, but I haven't really loved it too much with TMDK because a lot of the guys are just like, I don't know what the fuck to grab. They're just throwing bullshit on.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Hartley Jackson was just like running around in a circle as like they're like all like doing the hole and stuff like that. He's like scrambling. He doesn't know what to do, and it was it was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, so this was a really fun matchup here. Like I mentioned, Ishii getting the win over Hartley Jackson, and Clark Connors was on commentary for the second half of this show, and he was pretty good on commentaries too. So yeah, this was a good matchup here. And we had a question here from King of the North, and he says, Hartley Jackson, huh? So I don't know if he's...
I don't know what that means, but okay.
If he's in favor, not in favor of Big Jag here.
You got to put... It's one of those things, like, you'll learn as you get older. You got to put an emoji behind that shit, because we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of skeptical of Hartley Jackson at first, because I was not really familiar with him, but I think he's been awesome so far. And if he's going to be doing the stuff he's doing, like he did with Ishii, like, sign me up. We need more guys like him, just throwing bombs, doing big moves. He'd be a great guy to have, just as your monthly never challenger. And,
strap him up.
Yeah. But speaking of titles,
belt on him.
I haven't beat Zach. But speaking of titles, the main event was for the NJPW World TV title. El Phantasmo defeats Jeff Cobb in 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Before the match, they made it official that there would be no countouts based off of what happened at Battle in the Valley in January, where they had the double countout in their title match. So they took away the option there for a double countout, which led to these guys brawling all up and down through Korakuen Hall. We had a similar spot where Phantasmo did the rope dive to the barricade, which led to the eventual double countout in Battle in the Valley. But Cobb moved, and then that led to Phantasmo doing the big dive off of the Korakuen entryway there, the little pathway stair thing there into the crowd.
Yeah, the people in the crowd were terrified of all of the action that they were doing, which is, I don't know, like, it's not like Japanese crowds haven't ever seen stuff like this, but for whatever reason on this night, I just noticed that the reactions were pure visceral terror every time the guys were around them, especially the one point when Jeff put ELP up into a vertical suplex position, started walking up the steps, and everyone was freaking out. I was hoping he was going to walk all the way around the arena with him, but he didn't get that far, but like, it was still pretty impressive.
They're probably scared he was going to like brainbuster him on the middle of the steps.
Yeah, I was like, what are they going to do here, you know? But I was a little critical last week of the whole no countout stipulation, and like, I guess that was the impetus for them to have the brawling through the crowd. But realistically, they could have gotten away with the amount of brawling they did through the crowd just on a regular like match. They wouldn't have got counted out. You know?
Yeah, it's Red Shoes. Like
it's Red Shoes, and it's the main event. Like, they weren't going to get counted out no matter what. But like, it's fine. Like, it was the storyline reason why they were, intending to kind of go throughout the crowd. But in terms of the quality of the match, I thought that this really like ruled. I thought it was really great. I thought the first match they had was very good. I thought this one outpaced it and outperformed it, was in front of a much better audience. And, anytime people can do kind of cool, fun, inventive things in Korakuen Hall, that's always going to get over with me. I think it gets over well with the crowd there. And I thought these guys worked really hard. They had some great near falls down the stretch. Jeff Cobb was on his anything you can do, I can do better bullshit.
Yep. He tried to do a springboard Thunder Kiss.
Yeah, it was just a cool match. Guys doing really cool shit, working really hard, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great main event, and exactly what you want to see on a Korakuen Hall Road 2 show in the main event.
Yeah, Phantasmo hits the sudden death, followed by his Thunder Kiss 86. Gets the big win there. So yeah, nice fun main event there. Post-match, Cobb grabbed the title and give the two Phantasmo, kind of show some respect to ELP, and then ELP is cutting this long post-match promo, and he's, having Jado translate, and he's thanking everybody, thanking the ring crew and the production and Walker and all these people, and gets a nice little celebration there at the end of the show.
Yeah, and they, I thought it was interesting, just some of the speculative comments from Walker Stewart about, Jeff Cobb having a face made for TV, and the question is, what channel is he going to be showing up on? And there's a lot of speculation about the status of his, contract status with New Japan, and so for him to kind of be talking about that in the air, a little interesting. At the very end there seemed to be a little bit of a rift between Jeff Cobb and ELP, and almost kind of like a heelish demeanor coming out of Jeff Cobb and his disappointment from losing the title match, and then grabs the belt, awards it to ELP. They kind of fist bump and, end on a good note. But it is interesting, like, if this is the end of Jeff Cobb in New Japan, and if he is in fact on his way outside, the kind of little speculative jabs you hear from people in the know that are out there, they seem to kind of point or indicate that maybe he's on his way to, like, say, like an NXT or something like that. But
Bloodline.
I haven't,
Bloodline.
Would he work? Would he be part of Bloodline? I mean,
he's an Islander. They don't care. He got the same skin complexion.
He's from Guam.
They don't care. They got Tongans in there. Now that they add a Guam dude in there, they're all brown Islanders to them. Like, just throw them in there.
Yo, how about John Cena? How about John Cena gave a headbutt to Jey Uso and then sold the headbutt? Oh, we're still doing this shit. Oh my god! But anyways, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of, like, speculation that maybe he's WWE bound. I don't know that that's the case, but that's kind of the vibe that's out there. But I wonder if someone's in the know. Hit us up in the DMs. If Cobb's sticking around, I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
we know he's turned down Tony like twice in the past.
Yeah, he's had several AEW offers. I mean, he was on AEW TV several times.
He turned down WWE in the past too.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe finally there's enough zeros from one of those two to make him go over.
It doesn't matter how many zeros there are from them. It's the negative amount of yen.
Yeah, the yen is not yenning. So it's time.
As the kids like to say, the yen is down.
Yeah. So that was that, and then we'll be back with Korakuen Hall action tomorrow. By the time you guys are listening to this, probably has already aired. This will be happening February 4th in Korakuen, and this is the official go-home show to the new beginning in Osaka. So the last Road 2 show before that show. So we'll have Tanahashi and Murashima taking on Chomakato and Togi Makabe. ELP, Jado, Wato, and Hanma versus Akira, Great Okan, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb. Bolton Oleg and Tomioka Hanma versus Hiromu and Naito. Taichi and Taka versus Sanada and Ishimori. Bushi, Shingo, and Tsuji versus Connors, Drilla, and Gabe. Goto, Ishii, Yo, and Yoshihashi versus Hartley Jackson, Robbie Eagles, and Oiwa and Sabre. And then the main event will be for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, as El Desperado will defend against the Japanese Young Punk Kosei Fujita.
Yeah, so I mean, that's coming up this week. Obviously the show, very similar to what we've been talking about. The big match, though, that needs discussed is ELP versus Kosei Fujita. And, in my history of covering New Japan and in ours, usually if someone is kind of splitting their efforts between two different title pictures, that usually doesn't spell a lot of success for them to win the big boy belt. Like, could he still defend his junior tag title successfully? Sure. But I'd be very surprised if, 1 month out from the Tokyo Dome, he were to defeat ELP.
You mean,
or not ELP, El Desperado.
Yeah, especially since it's a road to Korakuen here. Yeah, I definitely expect Desperado to retain. It should be a good matchup here, but yeah, I don't think Fujita has a chance here.
Is this Fujita's first junior title shot?
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, I mean, that in and of itself, that's a big test, and
unless
it'll be interesting to see.
I'm trying to remember, did he wrestle Doki, or was that a non-title match when he wrestled Doki last year? I
remember didn't they wrestle in Taiwan?
Yeah.
And Doki won that match and got the title shot coming out of that match.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that he got a matchup at all.
All right. Well, I mean, with that being the case, though, this will be his first big title shot. So that's gonna, this is an opportunity for him to really step into the main event against a big name on a big card in a big spot and really showcase whether he has the goods or not. I mean, I know we all know how talented Fujita is. And so far, I think he's passed every test, but like we really haven't seen Fujita at that level just yet.
Yeah, I think he still has, a lot more to prove and show. And so this is a good opportunity for him to kind of showcase what he can do in a big title main event. And yeah, it should be a nice kind of stepping stone for him. And I'm sure he'll get plenty more title matches in the future. So that is Korakuen Hall there coming up this week. And that's it for the previews. And then we just have one news item here. So Yahoo Japan published an article about Evil's removal from the NJPW roster page as of February 1st. And the report suggests that Evil is not likely under contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but his future remains uncertain. And we also saw that the rest of House of Torture, they were also removed from the New Japan page and put onto the Noah website, it seemed like. So definitely something's going on here. There's people.
Oh, I saw that. Was that real?
It looked like it was on the Japanese sites.
I don't know. I thought that was a rib. I thought that was like a joke that someone like made that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. One of the articles I saw where it said Evil, whose real name is Evil.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm over getting worked. So like until I see some shit that proves that this is all a shoot, I'm just going to keep saying like, it's a work. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. And I mean, the guys that would know, like JCast, they were told that he was taking some time off, but it was just a temporary departure. Maybe that was incorrect. Some time has passed and definitely there could have been updates. The other story worth talking about, we had quite a few people reach out to us over the past week asking about one David Finlay and whether, he is in fact signed. I guess Sean Ross Sapp had put out a story saying that his contract was up and that he hadn't resigned. And maybe that is the case. I don't know. In early January or like late December, we were told that all the War Dogs resigned, all of them.
Yeah. And then there was
that's it.
There was a speculation that Finlay was going to show up in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, people were asking us about that. I'm like, dude, even bro, I'm sorry. Like, and I like Finlay. We've given a lot of praise, but even if Finlay was in fact signing with WWE, he would not be showing up in the Royal Rumble. Like, for who?
Dude,
for what?
He would get no pop. Like their fan base.
Their fan base would not know who he was unless, the thing that they like to do is pretend, oh my God, David Finlay, you got to see, like, you know what I mean? They pretend like they've seen the person a million times, but they don't watch them. They're not fans of them. They don't know their work. But, could I see him making it in WWE, having a good career, going to NXT, going to the main roster? Sure, absolutely. But like, they're going to give him the AJ Styles treatment, bring him out with the big surprise. Like, come on. No.
Yeah, no.
I think they would have done that with like Jay White.
Oh yeah.
But they're not going to do that with Dave Finlay in 2025.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew that shit wasn't going to, and who knows? There's still speculation out there. People think that, he's not signed. Maybe he's not. But if he is and it's a lie, it wouldn't be the first time that he's ever worked anybody. You know what I mean?
Right. So, yeah, I would expect to see Finley back. Same with Evil. I feel like the whole thing's a work, and who knows?
I'm praying Evil goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally fine if he never comes back, but I think he will be. I'd also love it if they did loan How the Torture out to Noah. Like, that would be awesome.
So sick.
That'd be awesome.
Especially since Kenta's there. They could all just House of Torture it up big time in the big green, you know?
Yeah. Have them link up with Team 2000X.
Is Sakuraba still there? Can he join them?
Yeah. So that's the only piece of news here. Then we have a few questions and then recommended match of the week, and we'll get out of here. So
good, because I am so fucking tired.
Ready user Miley for Life says, wave a magic wand. Which former NJPW star do you bring back?
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say.
Why are you asking stupid questions?
I mean, if not Omega,
who the fuck else would we want?
If not Omega, then Okada. Or Ospreay.
I guess. I guess. Like, is Kenny.
Yeah. I mean, that's number one. I was just kind of throw out another option there.
Hogan.
In what order? He says, in what order would you rank the big factions? He says Bullet Club is no longer one faction.
All right.
I mean, I
right now, that's a tough one.
I think you gotta go TMDK number one.
I think right now you do have to go with TMDK as number one, but I'm not as confident in the cohesivity of TMDK or the marketability of them as others seem to be personally. But just in terms of like where they're at, where they're perched and everything and the talent involved, yeah, they're probably number one.
LIJ?
I'm torn. It's like, is it LIJ or is it War Dogs? You know?
Yeah.
I was almost leaning LIJ as number one because even though like they didn't do as hot in our awards this past year, and even though Naito and Hiromu had that abysmal dome match, you got Tsuji on top, you got Shingo doing his thing, you got they're going after the tag belts, which seems to be the right direction for them. Bushi still buying masks, still drinking ramen. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I think the thing is, like, what are we ranking them on? Because if it's going to be like drawing ability, then yeah, LIJ, they are.
I think it's vibes.
Always number one.
I think we're ranking them on vibes alone. Yeah. Like for me, I felt like War Dogs was like could have been number two or number one, but like we haven't seen Finley since the Dome.
Yeah.
And with that being the case, like things kind of feel a little bit in flux.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go TMDK, LIJ, then I'd go War Dogs.
I would go War Dogs, yeah.
Then I'd probably go United Empire.
I'd go Hantai.
Really?
I don't know, like United Empire, like what's going on with them right now?
I don't know. They're trying to figure out who the leader is, I guess, still.
They feel fucking lost still, you know?
I will say Akira is freaking jacked right now. He look in incredible shape.
Juice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, United Empire's kind of falling apart. I mean, Cobb might be leaving, TJP might be leaving.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Hantai, Tanahashi's on his retirement tour. They're trying to rehab Umino. ELP's got the TV title.
Yes, okay, yeah. So Hantai, and then probably United Empire.
I'd probably go Chaos.
Well, I mean, yeah. So if we're counting Chaos, and I guess you would go Hontai Chaos, then United Empire, and then just Four Guys.
Oh, and then House of Torture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Four Guys. Like when they started out as just Four Guys, they felt like just a smodge podge of guys. But when they were just five guys, they felt like family.
Family's broken.
Family's broken. They need a new dad.
Yeah. They need some people. Their team is struggling. It's really just two guys right now.
We didn't rate Great Bashiel. We didn't rate
Blue Justice
Army. And we didn't what was the Stray Dogs?
Oh, Stray Dog Army.
We didn't rate Team Filthy or Stray Dog Army. We also didn't rate the Rogue Army either.
All of them had House of Torture. Oh, man. Then a question from Barry Walsh says, after hearing the talk last week again of hoping Ishii drops a few pounds and goes to Junior Division, it got me wondering. People always clamor to see juniors jump to heavy, but has anyone ever had a decent to good heavyweight career and then jump to proper junior, and not someone who blends back and forth like Liger did on occasion, but a full-on junior after spending years as a heavy?
Rey Mysterio. I don't know. It's weird too, because there's different countries have different kind of delineations as to what constitutes the lighter weight classes and the heavier weight classes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think he meant specifically New Japan.
Yeah, I guess if we're talking about New Japan, like, no, I don't think that has ever happened at all.
Yeah. And I mean, it's because also the juniors are not seen as big a stars as the heavyweights. Like, why would you want to go back to being a full-on junior?
Even just, that's part of it. But even just think about the cosmetics of it. Like, you have to eat less. You have to work way harder. The style of work is rougher on the body in some regards. Plus, it's all about speed and athleticism. And as guys age, that kind of goes out the window. So, I can't think of anybody that has ever even made the drop.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and maybe there is someone out there. But, like, I guess you could point to, like, say, Drilla Maloney, right? But that's not exactly the same thing, because that was him coming out of the UK, which, like, I guess they have a cruiser and a heavyweight title, so I guess they have two divisions, but it's not quite the same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
Everyone pretty much wrestles everybody over there, and there's not that big of the way it's booked and everything's not that different. And, yeah, that was a guy who decided to make the drop and make his entry to New Japan as a junior. Now he's going back. He's going up to heavy. If anything like that has ever happened, I don't know about it. And, I don't know everything. Obviously, there's definitely people out there who know more about Japanese pro wrestling and more about New Japan than I do. But I can't think of anybody that has ever started as a heavyweight and then jumped to junior.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
But I mean, one thing though, I will say this: everyone thinks I'm like always joking when I say Tomohiro Ishii should be a junior. He was a junior,
right? Yeah,
like it's not that far fetched. Like, look at his frame. The guy wrestled as a junior when he got to New Japan. He worked junior for a while, and he was junior on the Japanese Shindies before he like finally got to New Japan in like early 2000, like late 2000s, early 2010.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Look at his height. Look, he's in there with like Akira, and he does not look like he's that much bigger than Francisco Akira.
Bro, his first meaningful feud in the company was with Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
He worked as a black tiger.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I can't think of anybody that's ever been heavyweight and then jumped to junior, ever. I can't even think of anyone who's ever even done that really in like, say, North America.
Yeah.
Can you think of anybody that like worked cruiserweight that was a heavyweight prior to becoming a cruiserweight?
Now I feel like it's always the other way around. It's always guys trying to get out of the cruiserweight / junior heavyweight / X division to get to the heavyweight division.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, that is true. But it's not about weight limits. It's about no limits.
Did you ever see those vignettes where he was trying to learn how to work from like Chris Sabin?
Yeah, the paparazzi production videos. Dude, that used to be hilarious.
Those videos are so fucking funny. There's the one where he tells him he's going to go to the top rope and hit a shooting star press.
Yeah.
And then they don't show him actually doing it, but they show him on top of the rope and then the jump. You don't see the jump, but you see him land on the person. And he's like, "That was for you, Shelly. That was for you." Like, any pointers? And Alex Shelley's like, "No, that was flawless."
Yeah, dude.
And then they're showing him the finer points of like chain wrestling and stuff. And he's like, "Okay, I like that. But what about this?" And he elbows. Which is kind of funny because that's just literally like a riff on some shit that Homicide and Brian Danielson. Have you ever seen those videos?
Yeah. Where like Brian's like trying to train him how to do like the arm bend or whatever. He's like,
yeah, and every time he just elbows the person, and it's the same shit, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
I guess Samoa Joe, but they didn't really have weight limits.
Right? Yeah.
In TNA, there were guys. Okay, like AJ Styles would work heavyweight. He was like the world champion and then went down to like X division. Won their title. But even that, I don't know. You're kind of stretching it when you try to say that shit.
Yeah. Because, you had guys like Samoa Joe as X division champion. Clearly, he, even at his lights, was still a heavyweight.
Right. But, in Mexico, it's a little different. And in, I'm sure in Mexico, there's somebody that has. Actually, no, I'm probably wrong on that too.
I was say, I feel like in Mexico that they kind of treat it a little bit more kind of like UFC as far as weight classes.
And bro, they honestly don't. It's a gimmick so that as many people as possible can have title belts, and so that they can have different titles headlining, shows as necessary.
Yeah.
But the reality is everything between like middleweight and like lightweight, it doesn't really matter. You can just work anywhere in between those. Like, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk, actually, did you watch the recommended match of the week?
I did. Yes.
So that, that was a middleweight match, but like Rocky was welterweight champion just not too long ago. But like Rocky didn't put on any considerable size to gear up to challenge for the middleweight title. Like, the guys can kind of just fluctuate between those weight classes, and it really doesn't matter too much. I think once you get to like the light heavyweight and the heavyweights, that's where there is a significant size difference. Mm-hmm. But in Mexico, the heavyweight title is at least in CMLL and the Mexican, national heavyweight title, when there was one. Historically, those are not the top titles in the company anyways.
Yeah, it's not. The focus is not really there.
They're not the top title. Like, the top title is usually going to be one of those lower card titles that are delineated as a world belt when it's held by whoever the top star. Usually in the past, in the most recent past, it'd be someone like Mystico or Volador.
Yeah.
So yeah. But like, I was gonna say, like, I'm sure there's someone that's worked heavyweight and then gone down, but then I just started running over the names in my head, and I'm like, probably not. Guys like Tejano and Ultimo Guerrero, Gran Guerrero, Cavernario, like those guys aren't going down.
Yeah,
Maximo Sexy
Stuka Jr.
Yeah, they might work those guys, but they don't drop down to a lower weight class. So that's a very interesting question. Yeah, I don't think it's ever really been done.
Yeah. Well, that leads into recommended match of the week, which was the World Historic Middleweight title match from CMLL Arena Mexico on Friday, December 13th. It was our good friend Rocky Romero challenging Flip Gordon for the title. And
Flat Earther.
Failing to defeat Flip here.
Yeah, I thought that this was very good. I enjoyed it quite a bit for what it was. The crowd was really into it. I think Flip, since the last time I've seen him, I think Flip has really not only improved in physical form, like his he's definitely like, geared up. Like he's huge right now,
yeah,
but it hasn't diminished his athleticism or his body control or anything, or what he's able to kind of do in the ring. And he seems more fluid and crisp and kind of sure of himself than I remember him ever being when I watched him in ROH.
Yeah, that's exactly all the things I was thinking. Because, yeah, it's been, honestly, I don't know the last time I watched a Flip Gordon match. It had to be sometime in the ROH run. And, yeah, he has better size now. And I know he had some, at least one knee surgery in the last few years. And I thought maybe, he might be a little bit slower and not be able to do as many flips. But that was wrong. He was living up to his name and flipping all over the place in this match. And that was kind of part of the story here. Is like, he's trying to do all his cool flippy stuff while Rocky is trying to avoid him and, catch him and other stuff there. And, it was the babyface trying to outshine the heel, and Rocky would have to like cut him off several times throughout the match as he tried to do that big, Asai moonsault kind of thing, and Rocky cut him off towards the beginning there. So it was pretty much just Rocky trying to cut off him from doing all his flippy stuff and get the advantage that way. And then Flip would have had to outmaneuver him eventually, start doing all his flippy stuff. But yeah, he did that great, springboard. I don't know if it was like a corkscrew kind of thing to the outside.
To the outside? That was sick.
Yeah, that was nuts.
He did a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, that's the thing. The one takeaway I had from this match was just really cool shit happening. Like, very entertaining, very fluid, a lot of cool things. And then, Rocky is such a good lucha style heel. Just like you mentioned, all the cutoffs, but just the little shortcuts he'll take and the little, they're not even always cheating, but like there's one point where Flip goes for the shooting star press and Rocky he's playing possum and then gets the knees up. Like guys always put the knees up, but the way he's doing it is kind of like he's out. Oh, fuck yeah, I got you. Not only does he get the knees up, but he turns it into a cradle package. And I was like, oh shit,
I thought that could have been a good finish there.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff like that throughout the match. But when he's just little things, like he puts Flip in the in the camel clutch.
Yeah.
I hate it when guys are just sitting in the camel clutch, but like the way he's like cross facing the guy, and turning it into something that looks really
he's like wrenching it. He's like he's trying to get the guy to give up.
I love that. I love that shit. So yeah, I thought this was a highly entertaining match. I don't know if I think it was a Friday night show. I can't totally tell.
It was, yeah.
And the crowd, someone does a big move and then they cut to the crowd and there's like, some hot tourist girl and some big fat dude with a Mickey mask and they got a bunch of beers and they're all going crazy.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I don't think that this match was necessarily like, if we're going to recommend, do our excursion match of the year contenders list, do I think it made the list for me? No. But I thought it was pretty fucking awesome. I would go like 4 4.25. And I thought that this was as good or better than a lot of the main events that we see most years on Fantasticmania.
Yeah, I would say this probably would be a very low-end contender for excursion match of the year. But, yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I'm like 4.25 on it. And yeah, also, too, I love the, the CMLL, when they're in submission, they're like, wagging
they do the no. But you don't, but then they turn it the other way. It's the yes, ring the bell.
Yeah.
I love that shit. Bro, I'm getting more and more to the point, like, I'm so busy with work. I can't be like in our group chats all the time. Plus, I'm trying I really do want to get off the fucking Zuck and Elon Musk bullshit. That's why I'm trying to use Telegram, but Telegram is shady as fuck, you know. But you know, I see you guys like complaining about wrestling and stuff, and I'm like, maybe I should just watch Friday Night Arena Mexico.
Well,
like
that's what I said in the chat. I think people thought I was joking, but I was serious because like Dan was like, yeah, you know, both major North American companies aren't great right now. You know, New Japan's kind of slow right now. Like nothing's popping off, and I'm like, we need to start watching CMLL because like they've been hot for like the last couple of years now.
Several years,
yeah, and it's still going great. And you know, I hear the reports of like what comes out on Arena Mexico, and it sounds like they're just having these banger shows every Friday.
Yeah, but you got to pay for it. So yeah, there's that, and it's expensive, but you know, we'll figure it out. But do you have great match? If you guys can find it, I would say go out of your way and definitely check out that match. I thought it was highly entertaining and really great work from, you know, Rocky and Flip. Kind of made me almost wonder, like, should Flip come back?
Yeah, I mean,
I know he's like one of the kind of like canceled guys, although like, did he do anything? I can't really remember.
I think it was just the whole flat earth thing.
Is it just because he's dumb?
Yeah.
Is that all it was? Like,
I'm pretty sure it was just because he's a flat earther. He might have said something like anti-vaccine, maybe.
He didn't mean to. Oh yeah, the anti-vax shit. But like, whatever, you know, that's what. Was that shit real? I don't know.
But
like, I got the first vax.
Yeah, I got the first two. You know, the first 2 rounds, whatever.
Oh, you got the second round?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I got the first round, but you know, I don't know anyone that's still getting them.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten them since 2020. I
think James was getting them for a while.
I could see that.
I think Josh too was getting them for a while too, but I ain't got that shit in a while. You know, I got my chip. They put it in me. But anyways, I wonder if they should, like, you know, if he's working for pesos, right?
Yeah.
Might as well make the call, see if he's willing to work for some yen.
Get some yen right? Going, yeah.
You know,
get him in a Super Juniors.
Yeah, bro, he's a little too big for a Super Junior.
They can, you know.
He could be a 5 guy, though.
Yeah, maybe that could be the new 5th guy.
But anyways, good match. Do you have a recommended match?
No, I was just scrolling Cage Match right now to see.
I got one.
You got one?
So you can go to Tomohiro Ishii's page for me, please.
Okay.
And he had a match against a gentleman named Ino in DDT in December. And it's got a pretty good score. It's probably worth checking out.
Okay, let's see. Tomohiro Ishii. Let's see. December. Yeah, Yuki Ino, December 22nd.
I think that's the move.
This is from their show DDT Nevermind 2024.
Well, for the rest of the show, I am going to say never mind. But for the Ishii Ino match, I will tune into that because it's got a good score. I think it's probably worth checking out. And I'm hoping that one delivers.
Yeah, Big Dave gave it 4.5. Cage Match has it right now at 7.98.
Although you can't trust Dave these days, bro.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's probably for like 4.25-ish.
Dave gives crazy scores sometimes, like especially lately.
Yeah. All right, so that's the recommended match. Tomohiro Ishii versus Yuki Ino from DDT Nevermind 2024. And
goodbye and good night.
Yeah, that's going to be it for this week. Next week we will be back to review the last of the Road 2s and start to preview the new beginning in Osaka. Remember, if you want to watch our show live or listen without ads, you can sign up at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. You can also make a donation by visiting socialsuplex.com and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure you connect with us on social media on X and Blue Sky. Follow us at KI Strong Style, at Social Suplex, and at Jeremy L. Donovan. On Facebook, follow us at facebook.com/socialsuplex and the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy. We're also Keeping It Strong Style on YouTube. We're at Social Suplex. You can join our Social Suplex Discord server to interact with us and other wrestling fans. And you can email me, jeremy@socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, it's by Rich Latta and James Boyd. All Things Elite with Floyd and Austin. Imps, WWE Adventure with the Implications of Matthew Bear. Wrestling Art with Chris Lings. Tone Talk with Ali and Aaliyah. And the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. And we'll catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Ichiban.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.